So over a year ago, an incredibly popular YouTuber Spizzles began a challenge like no other. They decided to do a generation lock, which is a Nuzlocke of every single generation of Pokemon, where the winning team of each game is carried over to the next. But they would do this with all 37 main series Pokemon games, which is a gigantic undertaking and actually inspired me to do the same. This is the first Pokemon challenge I've seen in a while that actually sparked my interest and made me want to play the game. Additional rules: if a Pokemon is ever used in battle in one game, its entire evolution line is banned for the rest of the series, save for Pokemon carried over from past games. I would go deeper into detail for the long-ish list of rules for the challenge, but I think I'll actually redirect you to the original Spizzles video. Once you're finished watching this, feel free to check that out. It's only 5 minutes long and saves all of us a lot of time. Standard Nuzlocke rules apply. I'm playing on set mode with level caps, and let's begin with Pokemon Yellow. Also shout out to Chaotic Meatball, who technically did this first, but it's a different rule set, whatever. After having a rat forced upon me by Professor Oak and pounding my rival Spizzle's Eevee into the ground, I can start catching Pokemon. For this run, I'll only be mentioning encounters that I actually end up getting use out of at some point in the game, starting with Birdo the Pidgey and a Nidoran. Never mind. Without double kicks from Nidoran, our best bet for Brock is Mr. Bug the Caterpie, who will learn Confusion upon evolving. Right away, I start grinding on wild Pokemon to evolve Caterpie into Butterfree and catch up my other two Pokemon. Soon after this, I'll be using rare candies to level up my Pokemon to save time on grinding, so if you're unhappy about this, don't be. Rare candies and Nuzlocks are old news these days, and it saved probably about 6 hours over the course of this run, even with speed up on my legitimate Nintendo Game Boy Color. After reaching a level cap of 12, we can take on Brock. We begin by firing 2 non-functional Thunder Waves into Geodude, before realizing how dumb I am and switching to use Growl to get Geodude to -6 defense. Neither of Brock's Pokemon have any Rock-type moves, so I can switch to Mr. Bug, who knocks out Geodude after setting up 6 Hardens. Even with a crit from Geodude, neither of the gym leader's Pokemon can do anything of significance, and the battle is easy. Also, I forgot to update the badge list for at least the next 2 gym battles, so just ignore that for now. None of the trainers on Route 3 are an issue, so the next major battle is the Super Nerd next to the fossils. Voltage can knock out the Grimer with a few Thunder Shocks. It isn't doing much damage to the Voltorb, so I switch out to Mr. Bug. Also, you may notice that Mr. Bug no longer has Confusion. Turns out, I accidentally replaced it with Stun Spore while spam clicking, and this prevents me from efficiently taking out the Voltorb. Thanks to this, a critical hit Smog from the coughing leaves me with much less health than I would prefer. With paralysis and evasion strats, I am able to take out the coughing, winning me the battle, but leaving my team in shambles. Thankfully, that's the last battle in Mount Moon, so I can make it to this Brilliant Pokemon Center. Oh shit! Yeah, I ended up getting swept by Team Rocket, which takes us to the glorious Run 2, where everything is basically the same, including destroying the wild Nidoran with a critical hit, save for the fact that I actually kept Confusion on Mr. Bug. I also end up catching Sanic the Sandshrew on Route 3, who will be used later. Mr. Bug's Confusion allows us to beat Team Rocket, who will no longer be a problem for the rest of the run. Next up is the rival fight. Voltage fries the spear out of the sky, the newly named Burge takes out the Sandshrew, and Mr. Bug's Widow can beat the Rattata and put the Eevee to sleep while Burge cleans up the rest. After taking down Nugget Bridge, I catch a Bellsprout, who is on the team for a while, but never actually hits the battlefield, so if it does happen to show up in a later video, that's my explanation. The next thing of note is the Misty fight. Voltage kills Staryu with 2 Thunder Shocks, and then beats Starmie in 4 hits after it just goes for Harden 3 times in a row. Next of note is the SSN rival fight. Voltage beats the first 2 Pokemon, and then Mrs. Bug can clean up the rest of the team. Sanic joins the squad for real this time, then immediately proves his worth by evolving into Sandslash and one-shotting Lieutenant Surge's only Pokemon with a super effective dig. The next permanent team member we catch is Minecraft YouTuber The Drowsy, who evolves soon after when given enough rare candies. This is our Psychic type, which pretty much every serious Gen 1 team needs. Other people have talked about it to death, but Psychic types and Psychic attacks are pretty much overpowered in Kanto games, and while Hypno isn't the best, it's incredible for a playthrough. In Rock Tunnel, we also catch Dwayne the Geodude, who is a great encounter and can also evolve all the way into Golem in this game. He doesn't really end up doing much for the run, but is a great early game tank for later playthroughs. In the Celadon department store, I can buy almost every evolution stone, which allows me to evolve Voltage into Raichu. He usually can't evolve in Pokemon Yellow, but Spizzles did it, so I'm going to allow myself to use it. Next up is Erica. Burge takes out Tangela and Weepinbell, with Minecraft YouTuber taking out Gloom. Right afterwards is the Spizzle fight in Pokemon Tower. Voltage annihilates Fearow, and Sanic can take out the rest of his team with a guaranteed critical hit slash. I use a Pokédoll to scare away the Marowak, which I'm not sure if that's legal, but I'm gonna take it. Let me know what you think in the comments. The rocket fight is not an issue thanks to Minecraft YouTuber. And now I'm free to take on the Poison Gym, the Psychic Gym, or the rival fight at Silphco. In Pokemon Yellow, the rival fight has the lowest levels of the three, maxing out at around 40, whereas the others max out at 50. So I go for that next. After a copious amount of time, Burge can take out the Sandslash without major difficulties. Voltage nukes Cloyster with a Thunderbolt, Sanic takes out Magneton and Kadabra, and Dwayne wrecks Flareon with an Earthquake. Giovanni is no issue because none of his Pokemon can take a Psychic from Minecraft YouTuber very well, so next is Koga. We're going into the fight 5 levels under the level cap, because the 6th gym has the same level cap as Koga, but I don't think that should be an issue. Burge easily takes out the first 3 Venonats with super effective flies, then manages to land a fly on the Venomoth through a double team and actually crits for the one-shot. With 5 gym badges, I now need a Pokemon to use Surf, which accidentally nets me the surprise MVP of the run, Poliwag, who can evolve into Poliwrath right now thanks to a Water Stone, but I decided to leave it as a Poliwhirl so it's not weak to Sabrina's Psychic types. At level 41, Poliwhirl learns what might possibly be the best move in the game, Amnesia. Since Special Attack and Special Defense are the same stat in Gen 1, Amnesia effectively boosts both stats, as well as allowing me to stack badge boosts, which will raise my attack, defense, speed, and special after I get the 7th gym badge. To show this power, my only non-fully evolved Pokemon on the team is able to cleanly sweep the entire 6th gym, by far the hardest in the game. Not only do I annihilate every Pokemon with boosted Surfs and Body Slams, I also outspeed them all thanks to badge boosts. Not only does Poliwag crush Sabrina, he grabs that rope and keeps on pulling. He immediately sweeps through the 7th gym and softens up Giovanni's team for Minecraft YouTuber to outspeed and one-shot the rest. Afterwards is the Spizzle fight just before Victory Road. Poliwag can take out the first 4 Pokemon all on his own, then Minecraft YouTuber can set up on Kadabra and kill it and Flareon with a few headbutts. Victory Road is inconsequential because of our incredibly powerful team, and no significant moveset changes are made before the Elite Four. So our final team is Voltage, Poliwag, Sanic, Burge, Minecraft YouTuber, and Dwayne, with Butterfree sitting on the bench for now. All leveled up to level 60 to match Agatha's Gengar, which is what Spizzles did for his yellow playthrough. On to the Elite Four, no going back now. First up is Lorelei, the Ice Trainer. Voltage paralyzes her Dugong, uses double team once for the evasion as well as the badge boost, and then knocks out the Dugong. Cloyster has a really low special, so it also falls to a Thunderbolt. Slowbro also has surprisingly low special for how bulky it is in later generations, so it falls to another Thunderbolt. Jinx survives a Thunderbolt, but just whiffs a Thrash, then goes down to another attack. Lapras survives in the red, whiffs a Hydro Pump, and then goes down easy, winning the battle against the first Elite Four member. I guess that double team did a lot more than I expected. Next up is Agatha, with Minecraft YouTuber facing down her Gengar. Gengar switches into Golbat, while Minecraft YouTuber just whiffs a Hypnosis. Golbat just keeps going for Leech Life, so I'm able to put it to sleep and start setting up Meditates. Golbat ends up hitting Minecraft YouTuber with a Toxic, but this is actually perfect, because I won't take damage from Toxic if I knock out one of the opposing Pokemon, just another bit of Gen 1's tomfoolery, and her Ghost types can't put me to sleep, because I'm already afflicted with a status condition. It never ends up mattering, because Minecraft YouTuber can just outspeed and OHKO all of her ghost types, thanks to the badge boost. The final Elite Four member is Lance the Bird Trainer. Poliwag leads against Gyarados, which is probably a mistake, but I can set up and take out the Water Snake, but not before taking copious damage from Dragon Rage. This lets me take out both of his Dragonairs with Ice Beam, but leaves me vulnerable to a fly from Lance's Aerodactyl. So I switch into Voltage, who tanks a fly before knocking Aerodactyl out with a Thunderbolt. He's replaced by Dwayne, who resists Aerodactyl's entire moveset and can take it out with a few super effective rock throws. Dragonite comes in, who is going to go for a Blizzard on Dwayne, so I can effectively switch into Poliwag, which resists the attack, to take it. What?! My heart stops for a second, but at least Ice Beam will one-shot the Dragonite. After returning from the emergency room with a pacemaker in my right calf, we can finish off the Dragonite thanks to Poliwag's impenetrable plot armor, defeating Lance as well as the Elite Four. The final battle of the Pokemon League is against the champion, Skizzle. We lead Minecraft YouTuber into Sand Slash. He lands a Hypnosis, which allows me to switch into Poliwag and set up 3 Amnesias, which basically means that the fight is over. Surf takes out Sand Slash, Body Slam takes out Alakazam, Ice Beam takes out Exeggutor, Surf one-shots Magneton, and 2-shots Cloyster, but not before it fires off a pathetic spike cannon. Flareon is the champion's final hope, but it gets drowned by one final Surf from the main character of Pokemon Yellow. This marks the end of the run, so let's recap. The Pokemon we're carrying over to the next game, which will be Pokemon Red, are Poliwag the Poliwag, Minecraft YouTuber the Drowsy, Sanic the Sandshrew, Burge the Pidgey, I might change that name because it keeps autocorrecting to Bridge on the script, and Dwayne the Geodude. These are the 5 Pokemon we are allowed to keep using, but let's not forget our 2 other warriors who will not be joining us for the rest of the series. Raichu was taken out in the Lance fight, and Butterfree was boxed, which means I can no longer use any Pokemon from their evolution lines for the rest of the run. I believe I may technically be able to use Pichu going forward, because it was added in a later game, but I have a gut feeling that I won't really be exploring that technicality. At least not with Pichu. Next up is Pokemon Red, which I doubt will be much harder, but we'll see. Anywho, I'm not so great at this outro stuff, so if you've made it all the way here, clearly you're having a good time, so consider subscribing for more updates. This kind of challenge is already a ton of fun, so I can't wait to get into the rest of the games. Thanks for coming, I guess. The door is that way. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Yeah, just right there.